Hi, welcome back to Mel's Health. I'm Mel and I make videos about my ongoing recovery from pulmonary embolism. So it is T-minus just a few hours now before we leave to go to the airport to head to Toronto for my BPA surgeries, so it's starting to get real. And honestly, up to now, I've been so ridiculously busy at work every day just trying to get all my loose ends tied up ready for being away that I haven't really had the chance to worry or get anxious or stressed about this whole trip or anything. It's just kind of the time has come. In general, though, I am one of those people that doesn't really panic ahead of time. I tend to get nervous in the moment for some reason, so maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's a bad thing, but here we are right now. So today I'm just going to put some baselines in this video so you can see examples of my breathlessness / fitness levels prior to these surgeries. You won't have seen some of this before because I chop my videos up from each sentence just to kind of keep it flowing pretty well. But I have quite a lot of pauses where I have to stop to breathe. I actually get quite out of breath just talking to the camera, and in general in life, if I have to tell a story or present or anything like that which requires a bit more oomph when you're talking, I get out of breath doing that. So it will be interesting to use that as a comparison afterwards to see if my breathing is regulated better and I can project my voice a lot better without getting out of breath. As for the pain that I feel on a daily basis, I can't really convey that on camera, obviously, because it's all internal. But every day, without fail, I feel some sort of pain in both sides of my body, around the rib lung area. It's either an ache style pain, it can be quite tender, or it can be a full-on jab pain where I feel like I'm being stabbed, or I have a stitch, exercise stitch from not really doing a whole lot. And sometimes it's to the point where you can't even take a full deep breath because of that pain getting in the way of that. So little things like that, it will just be me that can notice the difference, but I'll definitely talk about that in future to see if I see improvements in those areas. Fingers crossed. Just jumping back to the anxiety / mental health side of these things, even though I'm a cool cucumber on the outside and I am a very laid back person, I am still human. So this is still surgery at the end of the day, so I do have some fears and concerns, and I don't have the luxury of knowing that I'm going to be out of it. It's definitely worse knowing that I have to do this 4 times and be awake for it. In general, I'm too realistic of a person for motivational speeches and just assuming that everything's going to be amazing and go really well and I'll be fine. It's just the pessimist in me. So I tend to hope for the best but plan for the worst, because in my mind I have that stupid thought of, yeah, there's a 99% success rate, but someone's got to be the 1%. But we won't focus on that. I can't control how things go. I can just get myself in there, do everything that's instructed of me, and put everything in place that I possibly can to make this a success. I will say though, I do still have that, random little devil on the shoulder that's gonna implant those horrible thoughts where it's just what if they get in there and it's a whole lot worse than they thought? Could that lead to something that they can't unblock? Will I then have to look down the surgery route? What if they go in there and find that it's something completely different, and I end up with some other underlying health problem because they find something that hasn't shown up so far? Those types of thoughts aren't consuming me, and I can talk myself around to the point where I'm just these are kind of more unrational type arguments, because everything pointing so far is to make this really simple, but you never know. So we're just gonna go and see what happens. I will say though that if you are someone who really does struggle with anxiety, then definitely reach out for support from whatever angle is accessible to you, whether that's a close support person, friend, family, whatever, or whether it's through an online support group or through a doctor. For me, I wanted to gauge the public's opinion, honestly, before going into all of this. And there's a really good private Facebook group, which is for anyone that is affected by CTEPH or CTED. I'll put all the details in this video. But there's a wealth of experience in there from people who have been through all the different types of treatment when it comes to these conditions. And so I asked a question about BPA, and I'm going to put all the responses on the screen so you can pause to read them. But it was just to highlight the fact that, one, how many responses I did just get off this random post in this group, and two, the positivity that comes out of a lot of these experiences that people have had, which can hopefully settle some doubts, just seeing that the good has outweighed the bad for a lot of people. And then once this has all happened, hopefully I can do that for someone else in the future. So as much as those groups online and different posts have been great at giving me information, there are still things outstanding that I would like to know for my specific situation regarding going to the Toronto General Hospital. In a separate video at some point, I am going to talk about the prep that had to go into this trip because for me, I live on the west coast of Canada in BC, closer to Vancouver, and the only place you can get these surgeries is over on the absolute other side of the country. And this country is enormous. It's like a 5-hour flight to get over there. So I don't know what to expect in regards to like the hospital, the recovery area, how I'm going to be able to entertain myself easily, like, you know, is it phone, can I use a laptop, all that type of stuff. I don't know if I'll be in a ward or in a room, all the kind of logistical things that would just be nice to kind of see ahead of time, just to know like how I am going to handle like the night or two that I am in hospital each week. Secondly, I haven't got a massive impression of the actual recovery, so like pain levels, the awkwardness of moving around afterwards. You know, I can't really bend much, you know, apparently, because I'm going to have the catheter entry point in the vein in my groin. So, you know, I don't know how it's going to be, you know, going to the bathroom, you know, how bruised I'll be, if I'll be like really stiff from not moving around very much. A lot of people's experiences did talk about how in their memories the worst part was having to lay flat for so long after these procedures. Now for me that seems odd because, you know, I can bed rot, like laziness comes second nature to me. I can just be one of those people that sits and just like plays on their phone or laptop all day. But now I'm thinking like, you know, maybe it's just because it's like such an uncomfortable position for hours on end, then it might just actually be horrendous. It'll definitely be something that I report on in the next video where I'm actually going through this. Anyway, I've yapped enough now, so I'm going to be obviously posting my experiences in Toronto and vlogging my way through these surgeries. So if you are heading to Toronto for this procedure, hopefully that will be a big help for you. But let's get some examples of my breathlessness in this video. I'm going to go and walk up the stairs in my apartment block, so I will see you in a sec. Okay, so I am at the very bottom of my apartment block, which is 6 stories tall, so I'm about to walk up 6 flights of stairs. I'm not going to hang on to the railings at any point. I'm just going to walk straight through the middle at a consistent pace and maybe say the floor that I'm on as I go up. So when I leave the bottom here, I'm not going to be out of breath at all. I'm just going to take a minute, make sure that I'm fully reset because I've just walked down the stairs and talked to the camera, so I got a little bit of out of breath. Wearing good footwear for the cause, so, you know, tell me you're a millennial without telling me. Check these out. And yeah, all right, give me 2 minutes and I'm gonna head up the stairs. Okay, so here we are at level 1 and I am not out of breath at all, and I'm just gonna start walking up without using any of the handrails. We are at level 2. Okay, approaching level 3. I feel like I'm slowly starting to feel exercise feelings. There's a deep breath. Definitely heavier breathing as I'm heading up to the 4th floor. Okay, another step and I'm at number 5. Definitely need a breath in between each word. Okay, so felt slightly dizzy then actually. Have to really look where I'm going. Okay, and here we are, level 6. So to me, that feels like a lot of exercise. So my watch is telling me my heart rate's currently at 112. It'll only go down though because I'm going to stop here. But It'll definitely be interesting to see if I can get higher without being this level of being out of breath, walking up 6 stories in the next month when I've had these surgeries. We will see. I'm just gonna wait and see how long it takes me to breathe. Heart rate's at 107. Calming down. 96. Okay, I'm pretty calm. Okay, lastly, here are some cut pieces of me when I was talking to the camera just in this video, so you can see when I had to stop and breathe. Obviously it's not like I've just run a race, but here's what I look like in between all of the paragraphs when I'm talking to you guys. Just like that. So we will see if there is any improvement there. It would be nice if there is. I thought about doing some other things like riding my bike, you know, or walking around the streets. But these examples, they're easy to measure and they're in more consistent environments for me to be able to see if there are improvements after these surgeries. But thank you for watching if you made it this far. Obviously the next video will be my actual experience attending these surgeries. So if you're interested, or if you know anyone that might potentially be going through anything like this, please send them over to this channel and hit the subscribe button too, because it helps get the content out to those people that might be searching for this type of information, and it's really helpful when you do find it. I can definitely say that from someone who has searched high and low for all the different information online. So yeah, I'd be really grateful if you could do that. But otherwise, I will see you on the other side. All right, thanks. Bye.